Oh my goodness. Okay, I cannot wait to start this off. William and I have been chatting in the back end, and all the stuff I probably could have recorded and actually had like 5 podcasts from it all and moving it through. But we are going to serve up some juicy, amazing stuff, and it will really rock your energy field and your brain for a lot of you as well, the concepts we're about to go into. But William, let's just start off by saying, what does light warrior mean to you?
So many different things on so many different levels. I will let you lead that. Which level do you want to start with?
Let's start with the middle level. So not the fully beginning of like the warrior, like awakening to like spirituality and missions, and not the like full blown, I'm way off in the ethers in 500 million light codes playing around in the light fields, although we could talk about that too today in essence. But what about in the middle? Like, let's just say someone's been doing some spiritual work, someone's been kind of understanding their pathway, they're seeing truth but maybe not fully elevated, and that light warrior version, let's say that.
Okay, unconscious, take me back. How old was I when I was at this level? 40, younger than 40, yes. 35, 30, no. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I was about 33. All right. Oh man, I'm almost 52. So
19 years ago.
19
Think
years
about
ago.
William 19 years ago.
19 years ago. Thank you for being able to do that math fast. I'd have to have a calculator. All right. 19 years ago. I've been married for coming up on 17, I think. So then 2
years before that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. 19 minus 23. What year
4.
would that be? 2004.
Oh, no, like, yeah, 4. Yeah, 2004.
2004.
Yeah,
okay.
2004.
Holy shit, Batman. There was a lot going on back then.
Yeah.
All right. So a light
warrior. That is so interesting that we're going there. Because I remember what I was doing in 2004. I had just moved to Ontario. Oh my gosh. Okay, please. What were you doing in 2004? Like, where are you in 2004? I'm like, oh my God, so much is dropping in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, because it's one of those, I'm learning to utilize unconscious to ransack the memory banks for different things. Absolute science geek and computer geek. I think in terms of computer programs in the brain, because the brain is the best neural network on the planet.
Yes.
Any critter, pick it that has a brain, and it's better than like GPT-3 right now. But okay, so 2004. I'm going to say that was even before the dowsing conference. Wow.
Oh, so you didn't even learn dowsing yet?
Oh, I knew how to do it.
Yeah.
I haven't found a piece of energy work I can't do. That's just when I became a certified dowser.
Got it.
Yeah.
Certified dowser.
That's when I got the title for certified dowser. Okay. I could already do it. I was doing it at 12 whenever I saw a piece on television, and it's like I went to the closet and got an unused metal coat hanger and made myself a pair of L rods, and walked around outside for a little bit, and they closed on something, and I said, "Dad, what's under here?" He said, "The phone line." Okay.
So cool. I love this. Yeah.
So 2004, before the dowsing conference. Yeah, I was okay. In the mid 90s, I learned how to do chi balls, and use them as protection bubbles for my place of residence or places I was in a lot. Okay, when was the Spiritualist Intensive? 2008. My God.
Yeah, such a pivotal, interesting year.
Man, Okay, so that's intermediate light warrior. What that means for me is I'm just waking up to the bigger possibilities and the fact that something's a little hinky with the let's put it like this. It's kind of like being Neo just after he meets Morpheus and just before the broken mirror incident. Something's a little hinky. I've actually met the enemy and he is not me. And so I can do things with my hands and I feel like I'm waving my hands around, but things are happening. Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, I wonder if there's anywhere I can hang out, anybody I can find to hang out with that understands this stuff, or am I the only one?
Yes.
And in my case, there really wasn't anyone I could hang out with. This was long before, this was, okay, I'm going to date myself. This is long before iPhones even. We didn't even have iPods back then.
Yeah. We did
and,
it. The
and
Nikon
so,
phones or whatever it was I had at the bar, like the Nikon.
yeah, I had a Nokia brick. It was
or Nokia, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a Nokia brick. It was, anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like, I didn't really have anybody, so I had to rely on downloads from the universe.
Yeah.
I knew a few people, but not that many. And so just to be able to tap into the universal ocean of consciousness. Let's see here. I got out of the Air Force in '98, got a job with a bank. When was I doing that branch conversion? It's going to be 99, maybe early 2000, when I discovered that I could tap into the universal ocean of consciousness to answer tech support questions.
Oh my God, I love this.
Yeah, I'd called tech support for something and it took them a few hours to get back to me, and I really needed this printer to work. And so I got this download, and I was in the middle of doing the thing that tech support told me to do when they called me back.
I got this a lot growing. How do you know how to do this? I don't know. And I didn't understand what I was doing at the time, but I used to do the same things without consciously being aware I was doing the same things. I feel like we just need to click this button here and move that around. How do you know that? I don't know.
It just works. Yeah. Well, I'm also one of those people that I jump in and break things on the computer. Back in the day, I found out what Format C actually did.
I have no conscious awareness to any of this.
I understand, but it's like, that is one of those incantations at a DOS prompt you never do.
Okay, gotcha.
Unless it's a computer you're playing around with and you don't care about the data on it. It was so
funny.
It was my primary machine, and yeah. I called my friends and said, okay, how do I recover from this? And these were people that actually knew something, and they're like, I don't know. I've never heard of anyone doing that one before. When you figure it out, let me know.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks a whole little. All right, back to 2004 and Intermediate Light Warrior.
Well, and I think one of the questions I want to ask you in connection with this, William, is like right before you figured out you could tap in to universal consciousness, that there was this like massive support team, let's say, out in the ethers that were helping us as earth beings move through our evolution to bring that light back onto the earth. Because there's a lot of people right now, right before this period for you, that are awakening, right? We've been doing this a long time because part of the people like us needed to come to awaken the other people. Like that's our job, right? Is to help shift energy and help illuminate others and get in your lane. Your people need you. Like, let's get them moving. And we both resonate in different ways in that mission. But we're seeing now this collective start to move through of like right before you in 2004, understanding, you could tap into this conscious energy and pull what you needed to serve whatever mission you were on then, which was obviously tech support in, like in this traditional business model. But where do you feel like, looking back on that situation and looking back on that awareness, and you've got obviously a different conscious level than a lot of people even moving through that right now. Like, what, knowing you today and looking back on you then, what would you have told yourself then to help you move through that maybe quicker or have better awareness as you started to open?
One of the big ones is you are not crazy.
Thank you. That's a great one.
Regardless of who's in your life that doesn't get you and is telling you you are. You're not crazy. You can interact with the invisible 96% of the universe we can't see, feel, touch, or hear. And you are not just waving your hands around to no effect.
Love it.
Right now, you are, let's just say, on a hike, and it's a land of amazing views and incredible vistas. And right now, you're just coming to the top of a hill that's got an amazing view on it. And maybe all you can see is a little bit, this much of the horizon out there. And you're going, oh my God, this is fucking awesome. And his triplet sisters. And then
I love that saying.
And depending on how much better it gets, I add sisters. But it's like, and then you see this much, and then you see this much, and then you get to the top of the hill and you're just like, I've got spirit sparks going on. It's just like, yes. Oh my God, this is incredible. And then you just happen to notice that there's this hill and this hill and this mountain off in the distance. And it's like, oh my God, it gets better. And so, and then, as with all high points, then we go down into the valley and through, and we have to walk through the forest and cross the streams and all that shit. Yeah. And before we come to the next foothill or whatever, and then we start climbing up again, and it's hard, and then we get to the next top and we go, oh my God, this is incredible. And then we go down, and only the low points get higher as we go. It's just that we have to go back down for a little bit and go through and walk through what we just learned, which is an absolute bitch. I mean, yes. As an angry dog who's lost her puppies and she's pissed off. And I mean, that's because, yeah, grew up on a farm. I've met a few of those.
I met quite a few puppies today on my walk.
Cool. So that's a way to look at this point, is as amazing as those highs are, remember them, keep them in your heart, and walk through the crap that is now the new learning and the rewiring of the brain.
It's so important, and I love that you brought this up, because I think a lot of us on the journey think that we get to, oh my God, we just finished this dark night of the soul. Now everything is amazing and we're over here floating, and then we get to the ching, next level, and now we're going up in the elevator, and then we open up the doors of the elevator and we're now in this new floor level, and we're like, what the fuck is this? Like, I thought I went through all this already. Oh no, ding, soul, new level, right? And it's the journey that we're on, and it's going to be never ending. And never. And it doesn't mean it has to be treacherous or like all this trauma and all the other stuff we dealt with when we were asleep, per se, or we were never really, well, I guess we were asleep, but we just, there was a fog in the awareness, we'll say. And then we continued on and started to see. And now that we're at different, like wherever the levels you are, wherever you're listening to on podcast or whatever time and space it is. It just knows that you're at one place and you're about to get to the next place soon if you keep choosing to step into that space and keep moving through that energy. It's just that it's a cool place to be once you are aware of it. So it's not as heavy,
Right.
Yeah.
And years ago, when I was laying foundation for what I teach now, are you familiar with Kenji Kumara?
No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Let's
Everything
see.
I do, most of the work I do is straight up from channeled ancestors and stuff. So
I
yeah,
understand.
So teach me.
Well, just the one concept that I wanted to bring up now, and I had even used this before I heard him talk about it, but it's, for me, I call it the spiritual spiral staircase of growth.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times we have to, what is it? Sorry, let me put my phone on ignore so that it's not beeping at me. Because chrome-plated squirrels are everywhere.
Oh my God, they are everywhere.
And so a lot of us walk the path, and it's like the fog and everything. We can see this one stone and stuff. And then all of a sudden, one day, I got to this new thing, and I had to step up just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then once I got both feet on that step, everything changed. A whole different view, a whole different perspective. It's kind of like your elevator philosophy. Only the spiral staircase can go up as far as I want it to, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And what I discovered is, with each step up, I'm in a different vibrational space, right, and I see a whole different view. And it's like teleporting without the elevator to a whole new floor,
yes,
to a whole new floor of consciousness and awareness. And not to terrify anyone, but sometimes new bugbears. Sometimes. And sometimes there are aspects of me that, from previous lives, that I'm just like, the fuck are you doing here? I thought I got rid of you years ago.
Yeah. Apparently not.
And yeah, that's a thing I'm discovering with, I'm walking through designing system 3 now. And a lot of that, I thought I'd done a lot of past work life, which I have, or past life work, which I have on system 2. It's just a whole different level. And so with the spiral staircase, my brother described it once as, he gets stuck on a step exploring that whole floor for years, and I might stay 2 days and kind of look around and go, oh, that was cool, what's next? And just continually racing up.
And that was me, like, a lot of my life. So I'm sure you know Dr. David Hawkins.
I don't.
Oh, really? Okay, so he wrote multiple books. This is fun. I love when we're trading information. Okay, this is good. He wrote multiple books. One of them is called Power versus Force, and you've probably heard of it. Rick's been reading it, actually. Richard. So Rick's a mutual friend of ours. Yeah.
Okay. His first name's David?
Dr. David Hawkins, yeah.
Okay, I read that last year. Okay,
yeah. So levels of consciousness, right? Levels of consciousness, right? So it's the exact same thing as the staircase that you're describing. In essence. I was born at a certain level of 600, let's just say that's what it was, when I muscle tested to find out as a child how I came out. And for those that don't know it, I highly suggest you look it up. It's an amazing tool, and the kinesiology that William works within and the muscle testing, really, it's supported in that book. It's really a high level vibration inside of there. And at 18 months, I was playing in the sandbox, and a friend came to play with me, an entity of shadow proportions, and said, can I be your friend? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And I welcomed him into my energy field at 18 months, not understanding what I was doing, obviously. And I didn't have awake parents at the time who could, and still now, even to this day, they still wouldn't be able to support that because it's just not in their conscious awareness. and that's totally cool. But I dropped to 180. And then I did life at 180 until I was 28 years old, where I met my first spiritual mentor who started walking me through the process. And she didn't want to take me on because she could feel that, but she was directed, you need to help her. And so then all of a sudden I started that journey, and then I ended up meeting a hypnotherapist who specializes in entity detachment, who was able to release that entity from me. But I also went through a year of a process called the 12 veils of illusion, which dropped in. So 12 veils. We'll have to talk about this at another time, because I'm writing a book about it. And yeah, and the 12th one was Morgan, the entity who was in my field that finally I cleared after that year myself. And then now I launched that program last year to serve others, and it'll be coming back again in 2023. But just crazy when we talk about consciousness and the levels. And so then after I had awareness, I went like all the way back up, right? Because I was like, oh yeah, I used to be here, when I was like 12 months old, and I just went, and I was able to climb back quicker. And now the work I do is in that spirit, like you, and everyone has access to it. We do, but we don't consciously know, or we sometimes make choices not to go there.
Yes.
Yeah. Speak to whatever you want to speak to, and anything I just said, move us through wherever you want to go.
Well, first of all, Creator, thank you for introducing me to Colleen. You might be the actual kick in the butt I need, because when I first saw the map of consciousness, I went 2 lines at the top for 600 and above. What? So I will be filling that in, because I'm working with people who are designed to go to 14 and 1800 on that scale.
Cool. Yeah.
And there's no fucking thing there. So
there isn't. Yeah.
I will be filling that in using kinesiology. In the resources I have at my disposal to fill in what the names are and all that stuff. So yeah.
Well, and we think about it when Dr. David Hawkins channeled that in the truth of in the truth of the energy on Earth, even that was all that he was able to pull in. Where we're now, we're now in this place of the veil is thinner. We have access to different tools. We're actually communicating with different beings, entities, energies, dimensions, and everything now to be able to pull the real truth back into the world.
Yeah.
So, and he started it for us. That was his mission. I saw him speak the last time he spoke in person, right before he passed away, his last ever conference, and he was talking about love. And I flew to Phoenix, and then we drove to Sedona, me and a few friends, and it was really cool to be there in that space with him, and obviously telepathically communicating with him and all that stuff too, right? So it was really kind of fun. Yeah. Cool. Sorry, I interrupted your thought process. Please take me wherever you want to go.
No, it's great. I'm loving this conversation.
Me too.
Yeah, it's been stated so much lately that love is all there is. It's trite now. And yet, the higher one gets in vibration, that is all there is.
Yeah.
Now, granted, having had a lot of conversations with Creator, and I'm asking him about the free will thing, and he's just like, oh God, don't ask me about that right now. Because he's just like, okay, this could be a mind-blowing concept for a lot of folks. He's like, I was rebelling against the guy that made my universe, and so I loosened free will a little much, because I'm like, okay, well, how is it possible that all these things can happen and this and that? And he's like, I made the rules, I have to live by them. It's not like I can go in and clean house now. Yeah. And I'm like, really? Yeah. He's like, I was rebelling, so I let people do a lot of things, and I wish I could take it back now, but I've already built the universe, so I can't. And so it's number one, it's an answer to why does God allow X, Y, and Z?
Yep.
He made the rules and he has to live within them. So there is that annoying fact. And yet I'm like, wait, your universe? I kind of had a clue from studying some of the Gnostic ideas, but tell me more. And he's like, yeah, this isn't the first universe. Really? How far back does it go? I have no idea. Wait, you're the creator of the universe. You're supposed to know everything. Really? You think that? Okay. I understand. You're a recovering Southern Baptist, so okay, I would expect that. But he's just like, everybody I've talked to, the other creators and stuff, it's like, nobody knows who started this whole thing. What? So yeah, maybe it'll be a conversation for later, but one of our mutual friends and I, a few months ago, I apparently brought him along with me and we met first instance. Yeah, human brain still reeling over that one, but it was just,
I can imagine,
phenomenal to be outside of the universe and looking at an infinite number tied together on a web, all going back to first instance.
Yeah, we don't know where in a time span that is, because time is not linear there. Yeah,
there is no time. It just is.
Yeah, it just is.
So,
I have a girlfriend, slash past client that for a few weeks at the beginning of this year was like totally gone. And she would send me these voice notes that she'd be like, wouldn't believe this. I was like, oh no, I would. Like, she was floating there. And I feel like I'll have to connect you guys together one day, because I think the conversations you two would have would be off the charts, like just in general. I feel like what I really want to pull out of you today, William, is this conversation of truth. Because I know we're moving into organic truth in a vibration, meaning you cannot hide from the universal truth that's starting to show its head in the world. And because this podcast is about unleashing, I feel like this conversation is one that needs to come forth in vibrational alignment for people to hear it, maybe in the way that you have to speak it. So I just want to ask you, like, what are you seeing right now in the collective when it comes to this truth coming out in the world and all the dynamics that we're seeing now and the breakdowns, like, what Creator said to you about, I may have went like a little bit too extreme because of all the dynamics, but we're starting to see it more and more because the light is shining more and more to literally uncover the crevices or the freaking caves they've been hiding in, manipulating all the things they've been manipulating in their little fucking dark holes. Right. So like tell me about what this truth means to you and what you're seeing kind of move through. I think it's important.
I thought I had discovered astronomy geek here as well.
Not surprised.
So in terms of the higher levels of the energy code healing system, working with energy beasts, which is, if any of you have heard of thought forms, I could have been reading that book. No, I'd read that long before 2004. It's thought forms that humans create. And when enough of us get together, we create a thing. I call it an energy beast. They can be high vibration or low vibration. And just on this tiny planet, we have thousands.
Oh God.
And by the same token, we didn't create all of them. And so as you move out, you've got the local star system, you've got the solar system, but you've got the local star system and bigger systems. And then you get to the galaxy, and then you go out and you've got clumps of galaxies, and then you've got clumps of galaxies, and on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the larger energy beasts span tens of thousands of galaxies. And I just recently found the level where the bosses are hanging out in terms of video games. I don't do video games much, but it's like boss battles galore. And looking in terms of these energy beasts and the truth that's starting to show up with us light workers and light warriors who are raising the vibration of the planet, we're in the middle of the shitstorm for the universe, I guess you could say, which is why we've been placed here, and which is why we were suppressed so ruthlessly.
Yeah.
And I'm getting my brain around the concept of energetic warfare that is being perpetrated throughout tens of thousands of galaxies. And I'm sorry to say it sounds human-centric, but realistically, we're close to the middle of this particular mess in this portion of the universe. And our job is to work on it and raise the vibration and be light warriors who don't do battle. We shine the light, we wave our hand, and these particular beasts go away.
Yeah.
We transmute them, shall we say. And so in terms of the truth that's emerging, have you noticed all of the amazing things that have been happening to light warriors everywhere that are either waking up or putting forth their offerings and such, and this thing happens and that thing happens, or they have this depressive episode or this anxiety attack and blah, blah, blah. And I discovered, was it this morning? Maybe, that a thought was thinking me. And as I was muscle testing, it's like, is this my thought? No. Okay. Well, that's cool. I can ignore it. And Rika Zimmerman put forth this postulate somewhere around 2004. No, it was after I moved back. So anyway, whose is this?
Right. Yeah.
And it's, now that I can muscle test, instead of asking whose is this when I get an inkling, it's like, is this mine? No. Sometimes it matters whose it is, sometimes it doesn't. It's just, I'm sure you haven't had this happen yet, but you have days where you're doing well, and then this thought pops in, and then you follow it down into a rabbit warren of all a bunch of other thoughts, and none of them are yours.
Oh, I've definitely had that happen. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And that's a thing that was going on this morning, in fact, that it's like, wait, this is not congruent with where I've been lately. Is this mine? No. So in reference to truth being birthed, and a group of people I work with are called presences, starting to work with. And I'm a representative for the presence of is.
Okay.
Which one word we could translate that into is truth. And I'm discovering that there is a ruthless suppression of truth being released on this planet at this time. Some of the folks that I'm around, that I work with or am acquainted with, when they get close to releasing their truth on the planet, a shitstorm happens.
We talked about this, about my podcast even this week, that it was all about truth, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, all the technology doesn't work and like all this crazy shit. Like I'm flying back literally to Canada tomorrow and picking up my new MacBook Pro, which is going to solve a lot of issues because I have an older one from a technology side, but still I work in energy, so I get it. And even people not being able to make payments to my Stripe accounts, like they're like, my card keeps failing and there's money there. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Right? So, and there's a big energy shift. When I walk into a new place, like I come back to Ontario, one of my clients says, I can't wait to just feel you closer to me. I'm about to shake some stuff. So if I can't get my money to be in a prosperous energy when I go there, then they've got me by the balls, let's just say, right? And obviously I don't have balls, but that's an expression, you know, like, right. And so now I'm going, wait a second, there's something else to this. It's not just the cards are failing. It's not just they can't pay their things or there's, what is this? Wait a second, you know, and I have awareness now because I've been working in this long enough to know, especially with the light and the activation I do for their light, I understand. But there's a lot of people out there that are walking around just thinking, oh, it's just because Mercury's in retrograde or and that's relevant. But like, there's all these other things moving around us that doubt and things not working and you coming up against obstacles that are potentially you're going to back then off and not actually fully embody and step into that power and own it for yourself. That's what they want.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I know that you've got some stuff you've been working through personally in connection with who has your power and who are you giving your power to? And if you feel like sharing anything about that, I'd love to just hear whatever is pulsing through you at this time, because I feel like this is a really key dynamic for people.
Okay.
Even surface level, William. It's okay. You don't have to go into the depths of it. Yeah, you're good. You're like, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it. So when I was 1993, what was I, 20 or 21? I don't remember. No, 93, I would have been 22.
Love it.
Oh God.
Were you born in, you were born in 71 then?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm 10 years younger than you. I was born in 81.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Well, I must say you don't look it, and I probably don't either.
I'll continue to not look it. You know?
Yeah.
I got that coding in place already. We're good.
Yeah. So I had been out of a relationship in 2004 for 2 years. Approximately. He passed over as I did CPR in late 2002. And he was a narcissist. He was an only child and acted like it. 16 years older than me. Some people have names for people like that, but
I get you.
And I was really shut down a little bit. Fortunately, I was in the Air Force, so he didn't get all of me. But it's one of those things where sometimes we wonder, why did I have to go through this? Why am I here? What's the purpose of this? And it's like I was telling somebody Monday, I think so, that because we came in at such a high level of consciousness, it was necessary to shut us down to keep us from living our truth, as you know, as you've experienced. And so, okay, wait. Remind me of what the question was. I think I'm answering it, and I'm not going to swear I am.
No, it's okay. It's about your power and about taking your power back and about really like who has your power.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I went down this path. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And so I gave this schmuck my power short rabbit chase. In Judaism, the substance left over after the circumcision is called schmuck. So I do mean in all of its graphic, gory detail, this schmuck. I gave my power to him. And I was, after 20 years after he passed over, I was still carrying around a full copy of him in my energy system. And so, and even before that, when I was 5, in order to survive getting more of a personality and school and I built another persona to survive, to put his face forward. I call him Bill. He's been uninstalled for about 2 years. And my God, was that an interesting experience. And so I started giving my power away back then. Because shortly before that, Creator had inoculated me against the Kool-Aid of religion, which I drank copiously. And, and so it's like, who am I giving my power away to? What am I giving my power away to? And it's like we repeat patterns over and over again because, number one, they're familiar, and number two, they're easy. And so Dr. Joe Dispenza's Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself was a helpful book, and several others of his books. It's just, when we start taking our power back, case in point, my energy healing systems. I'm a certified emotion code practitioner. 2013, 7th of May. I'm looking at my certificate on the wall. And out of that grew the energy code healing system. And the thing is, I gave my power away to the emotion code. Doing the work, I cleared somewhere close to 900 trapped emotions, thinking that would fix me. And now that I look back on it, I was giving it my power. And then whenever the new systems were birthed, I started giving them my power, expecting them to fix me. Not realizing that's my job. I have my tools. And I can do maintenance and I can do the work on the engine and stuff, but it's my job to do it. It's not the job of the system or the thing, the next shiny object to fix me. And so it's been a very interesting ride the last few months of discovering that not only have I been giving my power away to people for decades, I've also been giving my power away to things, objects. We could call that idolatry to a degree if we wanted to.
And this is a common theme. Like, this is something that we're really seeing in the collective of all of us in some way, shape, or form have done this. You know, my last podcast, I just went through like December of 2020 when I like literally hit the bottom, like the real bottom, not the surface bottoms I was hitting before and all the other work that I thought, oh yeah, I got that covered. Like, I was literally down on my knees going, okay, like, you know, I call, like, at the time it was God. So I was just like, God, what the fuck? Like, where do you need me to be? Like, I am completely surrendered to you, moving that through and understanding that. But I realized at that point in time that I still had these codependent relationships in my life that were my safety nets that were always there. And I love them for being there. I love them as my twin flame and energy. I love you. Thank you for holding that space for me. But the mirror and you coming in to always try to save me isn't helping me. It's not. Or my mom who's like, we'll help you and save you. I'm like, nobody. Like, and I didn't realize that I kept giving parts of my power away to them without, like, and I didn't know and understand that until that day in December of 2020, where I finally got it. And everyone's like, how did you not know that these were codependent? I was like, oh, all you fuckers saw this happening and nobody goddamn told me, right? You know, like that's what I said to them. Oh yeah, we totally knew that was a codependent relationship. Oh my God. But like I
so fucking much.
Yeah, I know, right? But I obviously had to go through it on my own.
Yes.
Move through it, understand it, because then I took the learning from it. It wasn't someone telling me about it. It was me bringing it into my field and understanding. So then every day from that point on, it was like I kept chiseling away at taking it back and looking at other places. Okay, just like you said, my ex-narcissistic boyfriend that I moved to Ontario with, which was in like 2004, when we were talking about that time, like that scenario, or all the bosses I had that used to use me for my talent that I didn't even know I had. I just thought everybody was like this, or all of those pieces that we continue to give away, right? So I started reclaiming that energy. And now I sit in this potency that even some of the people that are in my world that have done my work with me and grown with me for 3 years, even some meditations, they go, dude, I couldn't ground. Like your potency coming through is like skyrocketing. So now I'm in the space of like, okay, well, I need to serve them still. So how do I move a calibration for them to be able to feel it? So now I'm working within a different frequency field, not diminishing the light because we need it, but how do I bring it in so they can feel it and then get to the level that they can now hold it? So it's a whole new adventure in my mind that I've been working out since you've been talking. You know, I'm like, you know, like, how do I bring in a surge filter into this, you know, to make sure that they don't collapse over there and go out for 3 weeks because they can't handle the energy. I've got to be able to move it some way. So it's just interesting that you brought that came through as we were talking.
I love that surge filter concept. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gonna be building a few of those for myself.
Yeah, like I'm like, yeah, and I never consciously thought about this up until literally this moment of time and that we're recording this. So it's so funny. Oh, happenstance.
That's what's going. Yeah, it's like that's what's going on. Oh, I love it. Okay.
Yes, that's what's going on. And it's interesting. So I want to say to the people that are like, what the fuck have these guys been talking about for the last 40 minutes? Okay. Like there's some people that are listening to this still going, what the fuck are these two going to say next? Because we have no idea where they are. So I just want to say to you all, you're getting all the energy upgrades while we're talking and the codes transmitted into you. It's okay if your conscious mind isn't with us. So you don't even have to worry about any of that. But if we're talking to them right now, William, in the space that they're in, wherever they are, what's dropping into your heart now just to serve them in that energy field of wherever they're moving through? Because there's something that'll just pop in that's exactly what they need to hear. So I just want to pass you this.
There's a difference between simple and easy.
Mm-hmm.
This work is simple. It is not easy.
Yes.
Sometimes it's downright hard.
Yeah.
And wherever you are, literally and energetically, whatever you're working through, know that you have energetic support from the universe, from Creator, from all of the different beings who've gone on before you, and those of us in embodiment who are here to serve you. Just remember, this is not easy. It's simple, it's straightforward, and the human brain is great at making it hard and difficult, okay? I know this from experience. And so just remember, you don't have to do this alone. And I don't know, Colleen, how many males you have watching this. I've met my share of stubborn females as well. However, males are genetically, biologically designed not to ask for help. And yet, it's gonna be okay. The world will not end if you ask for help before you have exhausted all of your options. I promise. Yeah. I have done it a few times now and getting better. And the world didn't end. So, yeah, just remember, wherever you are is where you are supposed to be right now. Whether you think, like me, whether you think you ought to have been there 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years ago. Wherever you are right now is where you're supposed to be. And I'm sorry to say it, if it's a painful, annoying situation, this is where you're supposed to be for the learning that you bring to others on the other side. When I was in the middle of that relationship, I thought it was more or less hell on earth. And now that I'm on the other side, I can identify with being an abused spouse. I can identify with having a spouse die on me. I can identify with lots and lots of other things that go on in troubled relationships.
Yeah.
And as difficult as it was, I needed to go through that so that I can help a wider range of people now.
Mm-hmm.
So just remember, you don't have to be alone unless you want to be.
Yes, that was amazing. And, I say this often, that I really believe we go through the dynamics of life we go through in order to teach from them or serve after them. And some of us may never be coaches. And I'm not just saying as coaches, I'm saying, like, you meet someone on the street that is going through the exact same experience that you went through to help serve them, or you decide to go volunteer at a non-for-profit that's in alignment with the things that you experience, and you have this whole other sense of stuff, or all of a sudden someone drops into your workplace and they have the same experience that you used to go through. And it's those pieces, and we can't authentically help or serve the world without going through it authentically to serve the world, right? And sometimes they're challenging, just like you said. It's like they're not easy, but it's technically simple. But our brain and all the conditioning and all of the energy trying to keep us conformed and small in our boxes is keeping us here going, nope, this is really hard, really hard, really hard. You don't want to do this. This is really hard. You don't want to break free of this. We want to keep you here. Just stay safe in your little box. Where it's like, my main mission in life is to fucking blow up all the boxes. Like, let's blow all of them up. We don't need any boxes. Let's just open up our arms and be free and figure out what life looks like now.
That brings to mind another concept. Ego. I'm learning that ego is made up of multiple pieces, but the basic concept of ego is the old brain that is designed to keep us safe and not be killed. Mm-hmm. And we can switch into fight or flight because not because we're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger or a lion or a bear. We can go into fight or flight because our eggs got burned. And so just remember that there's a part of your brain and your physiology that when you are moving into a new situation, freaks the fuck out.
Yes.
And it says, oh my God, this is dangerous. You shouldn't do this. This is new. If you do this, I can't keep you safe.
Yeah.
Thank it. Hear it out. Try not to participate in what it's got to say to you, but hear it out and go, thank you. Thank you for that information. And once it is heard, it will go and play with its marbles or whatever.
Yeah.
Until you start the new thing, the next level, the next whatever. And then it goes, oh my God, I can't keep you safe anymore. Thank you. Thank you. Go play again.
Yeah.
So then that is another mammalian genetically built-in box. It has a door. That door is not locked. It's just a matter of whichever way the door opens, try to open it that way. Because
use the handle, please.
Well, not only that, my door just had a handle, but it opened in, not out. And I pushed on it for years.
I got that visual real good.
And so, yeah, it's like, just remember that there are multiple dynamics, multiple levels going on. And yes, our job is to explode boxes And yet the first one is the physiological box that goes on inside our heads. And so that door is not locked, I promise you. It's just that whichever way it opens, you know, if you're trying to go one way, try to go the other way. It might actually open.
It might, absolutely.
And then
I want to
walk out into the aquarium. And then you walk out into the aquarium and go, wow, I can see. And then you start walking and you bounce your head off something. Oh shit. Those are the boxes we want to dissolve and disintegrate.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
No, I love this. And I love how our conversation has gone everywhere, which is amazing. And I want to bring us back to one thing somewhere in the middle, where we were talking about raising vibration, right? And we were talking about raising our vibration. And I was prompted to ask you, what can someone do if they don't have all of the tools you have? Well, they technically do, but maybe they don't access them like we do. I know. What can someone do to consciously start to move that vibration?
As I learned in the 12-step program for food addiction, in the 12-step world, one of the basic tropes is having an attitude of gratitude. Mm. And as difficult as it can be, because I'm working through something right now that is a challenge. I read The Halving like a year and a half ago. Seyun Lee, awesome book. It's about finances, but it can be transferred over into having gratitude for whatever. And so just having an attitude of gratitude for the situation, for what you've learned, where you've come from. Maybe you have a challenge like me in giving yourself credit for what you do know, what you have gone through, and that you actually have achieved something, damn it. Just having an attitude of gratitude will raise the vibration.
Love it. Yeah. Anything else you want to speak to that? I think that's one of the keys. I think if they just step into that and start moving it, things will change, and then the next key will show up for them, I'm sure.
Yeah, because that is the equivalent of, that's the opposite of, I will not smile at my reflection until it smiles at me. Mm-hmm. Having an attitude of gratitude is actually smiling in the mirror and watching my reflection smile back at me.
Love that.
That opens many doors, just being grateful for the current situation, no matter how shitty and crappy it can be. Because I understand we are talking to light warriors.
Yes, we are.
And that wonderful experience of heaviness on the planet means that some of us are walking through interesting spaces and times in our heads. And so just be grateful for where you are, what you have, and that everything is temporary.
Yes, thank you. That's good. And I was going to say to you, I think like to maybe conclude this conversation this time, I have a feeling we will be doing multiples of these throughout the years or whatever weeks. I don't even know, like we're tightly timed. What do you want to say to these light warriors, wherever they are on their pathway? You know, some of us are beaming right at the edge, you know, like accelerating. Others are still kowtowed behind the freaking boulder trying to hide, you know, and some of them don't even know that they're light warriors yet, like the whole spectrum of us, and whatever levels they are. What do you want to say to us, or us as a collective?
Regardless of religious leanings, spiritual leanings, any of it, Jesus had a really good phrase in one of the Gospels. What is it? I know the King James Version best. It's either the devil, I think it's the devil comes and has nothing in me. Took me years to understand that one and decode it. And when I realized that's what my energy work does, and a lot of others, mine's not the be all, it's just the one I developed to help me, is that we have triggers, we have Velcro spots that let's go with your boulder analogy. Someone's hiding behind the boulder going, they've got me pinned down, crap, they're gonna kill me if I step out. There's part of me that's still going through this with a few past lives, still working through some of that, so it's very real right now. And so it's almost like they're not shooting bullets. What they're doing is they're throwing these. Do you remember that game decades ago that had the felt target and the balls had Velcro strips on them, and you throw them and they stick to the target?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, we're the target, and they're throwing the Velcro balls at us.
Yeah.
Okay, and they stick, and then they go pop or whatever, and all of this goo comes out, whatever. And so just remember that as you do whatever work you're called to right now, you're actually removing patches of Velcro from your energy system so these things can't stick anymore. And so remember, just keep taking one step forward, and ultimately they can't hurt you. It's like growing up, I was always afraid of what was in the dark, not the dark itself. And a lot of times when I got old enough to realize they can't hurt me. If I'm running full speed in a dark room, I can hurt me, and I can get stitches.
That can hurt me. Yes.
Yeah, because I mean, you trip over the coffee table or the this or that face plant, you're gonna have to go to the hospital. It's just a thing to remember that they're only throwing Velcro balls. Yeah, I realize some of them have acid in them and they pop on contact and all that crap, but realistically, we need you to show up. Just remember that all of us, and I don't want someone to metaphorically step out and take one for the team and off themselves. That's a whole other conversation. Minimum 32 years of choosing every day not to kill myself. Hell, I found, 2 days ago, I heard that one thinking me again. It's like, so just remember, what we're doing with our work is we are consciously removing chunks of Velcro for these things to stick to. And when you go down a couple of levels, we're all still that multi-hundred level child. We're still in there.
Yeah.
And in terms of all of these things that are going on, realistically, we're invincible. Yeah. It's just sometimes it's our persona that we created to survive that is not invincible. And so on and so forth. It's just a matter of wherever you are, even if you're pinned down behind a metaphorical boulder, unless one of these things takes on physical form, and in some cases they can, because humans get used by them too. But realize you are an incredible and incredibly powerful being who is here to make a difference on the planet. And before you go there, because if you've listened to enough shit like I did, you're gonna hear this and you're gonna go, oh, fuck you. I've heard this and I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I was in your shoes. Some days I still am. I've got to figure out where they are and why I keep stepping in them and get them out and burn them.
I I gotta get those shoes out of here. Yeah.
But it's just, before you go there, just remember, you are watching this. And after almost 50 minutes, you are still watching.
Mm,
So that means something.
yeah.
And you, number one, are here still watching this for a reason. But number two, you're on the planet for a reason. Creator put you here and built you for a specific thing that is your superpower. And chances are, I'm working with a couple of people now that they don't realize that what they've been told is their greatest weakness is actually their greatest strength.
Of course.
And so just remember, you are an infinitely powerful being who is temporarily in a human form that is, if you've ever read Life and Teaching of the Masters of the Far East, that is infinitely more amazing and powerful as a human form than we've been led to believe in this latest 5,500-year cycle.
I believe that. Yeah. And
So
I think that that's the key too, William, if we think about it. Like, we've been taught to stay diminished and that we are just small and that we are just one person, and all the things that we've been taught. Because the second someone realizes the power within them and they tap in and they allow their intuition to lead and their soul to shine and their mission on earth, that ripple effect moves people. And then those people start to move. And it's the whole thing of this whole entire thing starts to literally fall apart.
yes. Okay. So I want to lift this piece of paper.
Yeah.
I could grab it. I could do whatever. But in terms of this paper is all of humanity.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have to lift the whole thing. All I have to do is grab this tiny little corner, which is a few people of humanity. And I lift them up, and they lift others, and they lift others, and they lift others. And then we keep going. And the paper is now hanging by itself. And all I've got is the little corner.
Yeah.
We all have our place in the spectrum. We all have our thing that we're good at. And we all have our few people or many people that we can lift up and bring up. Hell, sometimes just a smile to a stranger.
Oh gosh. It's so true. Like yesterday I was walking to the bank. Everything in Costa Rica is cash, right? So, and I love and appreciate being able to hold cash and be with cash and align in cash. And not that I'm greedy in cash. I mean, just the vibration of holding that exchange of energy. And there's this woman walking down the street. She's a little bit older. And I say, if I can make eye contact with you and you're paying attention, I'm going to say hi to everybody. So I say, hola, like, hola. And I smile at her, and she gives me this big smile, and I could feel her disarm. Like, I felt her disarm. Like, she had this posture when she was walking, like she may have been pissed off. And obviously I could feel her energy, although I don't usually tap into my empath when I'm out and about because I don't want to feel everybody, so I'm holding it in spaces. But I could feel her, and I went, and then all of a sudden she disarmed just by me saying hi and smiling at her. And I went, reminder again about the small things. And I say this to everybody all the time, and my one-to-one clients all the time, guys, you need to own your power everywhere you go, because you never know what that light is doing inside of the spaces you're walking in. And we don't need to know the ripple effect we're creating. Our job is to step into that light.
A thing that I'm constantly reminded of by my guides who speak through my wife.
I love it.
Is because everybody loves Franya, everybody loves William, and then when both of us go places, it's like 10 times. And so everybody loves being around both of us. And it's just one of those things where we're taught to be diminished, and yet that light is still shining brightly. And so if you go somewhere and people love being around you, honey, take that shit to the bank. It's like we've been lied to think that we're less than. And so be in your full power. Even if you don't know how, you are being your full power.
Yeah.
And so it comes down to your light shines wherever you go. You don't have to try.
Yes. You just have to let it shine. That's it. Well, maybe not.
Yeah.
Well, like we've got to kind of be open
You've
to
got
allowing ourselves to be there, right? Because sometimes we'll walk out and we'll keep it all tight and closed off and not let anyone see it, instead of releasing almost all the stuff in front of it. Yeah, like this.
I've been hiding for years.
Oh my God, I've been hiding for years.
Actively hiding, and now
me
creators.
Too.
Yeah, I mean, now creators like got me talking to you, to I don't know how many people, and it's like, oh shit, thank you very little. Now I've got to get shit done. But hey, I heard years ago, I used to have her name memorized, but she was talking about the only reason that she actually got anything done is because she scheduled events before she had anything prepared. And because she had a deadline, she had a reason to get things done.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's definitely a strategy. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a strategy.
But yeah, it's now I understand. I found 3 other heart wall types last week that I didn't even know existed. And I knew about 5 different heart wall types before that. The heart is its own brain and it can wall itself off. And now I know that it can do it 8 ways. There's probably more. And so I wasn't actually referring to that particular piece where you wall yourself off, you hide and you actively whatever. Even though I was actively hiding, people still love being around me. My light is still shining.
Me too. Yeah.
And so I've met people that are guarded and whatever, and their light is still incredibly bright. So that means that underneath that interior, you're probably a freaking supernova. Wait, no, we can't go with supernova because those blow out and die. You're probably a giant star in there.
Yeah, and imagine the ripple effect of that when you just fully just surrender to it, not having to be anything but you. It's a real key thing. I know you and I can chat for hours about the most random stuff. I know, like,
we probably better not.
Somewhere along the way to somebody and to us in our own essence, we'll say. But, you know, if someone, obviously in the show notes, we're going to put where people can like align with you and communicate. But is there anything that you have going on right now that you want to just like shamelessly plug? Because I would be open to you shamelessly plugging something.
No. I'm in the process of developing 2 or 3 things.
Yeah.
And I probably need to have a reason to continue to develop those. A thing that I'm considering is starting some version of a mastermind or group coaching or what have you, because I'm discovering there's only so much of me and almost more people than I can work with that want access to me.
Yes. Shocking.
What's that about?
Yeah, I know. This is the thing now, huh? Yeah. Yeah, so they can just reach out to you in any of the modalities that we write down in the show notes if they want to get in contact. And I know on Facebook you do a Sunday every single week. What do you call it again? I can't remember the name.
Sunday Spirit Talks.
Sunday Spirit Talks. And I'm sure you talk about amazing things that some people have no idea what you're talking about. So we'll make sure to put the link that they can access those there too, because I think there's a lot of power in your messages. So,
and there's 174 of them now.
Yeah, there's a lot. You want to learn about anything, go back and check out William's Sunday Spirit Talks. Oh my gosh. So this has been fun. Yes, yeah. Super, super grateful for you. Like super grateful. And I just want to remind everybody too listening, if you're feeling this, we need support and help, meaning getting the word out. So please review us, follow us, download this, share it out on your social feed, send it to a friend, whatever you're feeling called to do, because the Light Warrior movement is a big one. And we want them to know that they are not alone, and the things that they're moving through are actual things that they're moving through, and they don't they don't have to do it by themselves or trying to figure it out. Or like you said, we feel crazy, when we're moving through it all. This is an actual movement. So we're looking to bring them into the field so that they can feel supported, get information, ask questions and all the things. So please help us spread the message and word if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, wherever you are with us. But we're just grateful to be here today. And yeah, William, I so appreciate everything you brought forth, and all the energy and the thinking of these. What do I have to do now? Surge protectors that I need to move through.
Surge protectors. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah, we should write that one down.
Yeah, I'll do that now.
You do that now and send it to me. All right, everybody, enjoy the time, and we'll see you guys all around in the next podcast. Bye for now.
Bye.